Hi everyone. So our lesson for this session is about the nature and process of listening. So this listening is the active process of receiving and responding to spoken and sometimes unspoken messages. When we say spoken, those are words that came out from our mouth. Those are those are our utterances. And unspoken messages, those are the non-verbal cues like um body language, diba? Body possessions, your gestures, facial expressions. That's it. And listening is an active process. When we say active process, active listening behaviors are specific behaviors determining organization, okay, asking questions, silently paraphrasing, um, attending to non-verbal cues, and taking notes. Those are active listening behaviors. Then, listening is the cognitive process whereby we attach meanings through oral signals. So when we say cognitive process, it is the mental activities, the mental functions, 'di ba? That we attach meaning through oral signals. Oral signals relates to the sense of hearing. So after the sound waves are translated into our nerve impulses by the middle ear and the auditory nerve, when we say auditory nerve, yun yung relates to the sense of hearing, auditory nerve. They are sent to the brain for interpretation. So, i-add na siya sa brain para i-forward siya sa brain sa imong utok ba sa mind mo para ma-interpret. And the process of interpretation first is the registration of impulses. When we say impulses, kada bang um um the motivating force, okay? When you hear something, when you hear a word, there is a desire to act depending on the words you have here. We say run. Okay. So it will be interpreted. So assigning them to meaningful context and evaluating them constitute listening. Okay. So we have two kinds of listening. The first one is the emphatic listening. It is about paying attention and being responsive while listening to someone. So the qualities of an empathy, yes, include feeling what others are feeling, understanding where they're coming from, and compassion is at the heart of emphatic or empathetic listening. Okay, so whenever we're going through some difficult situations, we turn to friends, family, or someone we trust. It's because we want to share our feelings with someone who definitely listen to us, to you, and understand us without judgment. That is emphatic listening. Listening with a heart. So emphatic listening, ano bang, you're going to listen with a heart. That's it. Okay. And here are some ways to be more empathetic as a listener. So the first one is observe non-verbal cues. Okay. Okay. Observe non-verbal cues. Okay. While you're listening to someone, don't just focus on their words. Okay. But look at how they stand or sit. Um Also focus on their facial expression, gestures, and body language. These nonverbal cues are very important. They are very essential attributes of emphatic listening. You have to look for signs that tell you more than what the speaker is conveying with their words. Sino bang makita mo yung facial expression niya? 'Di ba? That that talks more than the words that comes from his or her mouth. Yun bang makikita mo talaga dun sa kanyang mga mata how was he is going through. That's it. So this will help you pay close attention to the person you're talking with. So next is encourage them to speak. Okay, rather than speaking out of turn or giving your advice or opinion, encourage the speaker. Encourage that someone you're talking with to finish what they're saying. Many times we make that particular mistake of talking over someone or not waiting for them to complete their sentences, to complete their sentiments. Creating a space where someone can talk uninterrupted will make your friend, a family member, the one you're talking with, sharing his problem, her problems, rely on you and reach out to you when they need someone to talk to. Okay. The third way to be more empathetic listener is acknowledge their ideas. If you can acknowledge someone's ideas, feelings, um, and emotions, it means that you're an emphatic listener. So it's important to step back if you want to make room for others. Yun, pagbigyan mo siya, diba? Um, kailangang hayaan mo siyang ilabas, di ba? What he felt, what she felt, di ba? The the sentiments that she felt. Okay. So for someone to feel valued, you have to tell them that their words really carry the weight. Only then will they open to you and even be encouraged more to speak, to put their best foot forward, and they will really trust you if that would be the if that would be your behavior in accepting their ideas. Fourth is paying attention and asking questions. So another great way to make someone feel appreciated is to ask questions, but only at the end of the conversation. Not only does this show that you were paying attention, but also it expresses that you are interested of what she or he is sharing to you. The speaker will be happy that someone you're talking with will be happy to learn that you appreciate their time and effort. Is it? So you have to pay attention and ask question. The fifth one is respect the speaker. So respecting the speaker as you are listening is something that will help you build stronger connection with that particular person. So if the speaker feels that you are distracted, or you are uninterested of what he is sharing to you, it may offend them or hurt their feelings. So it is important to note of how your behavior affects the speaker for effective communication. Okay, so those are some ways to be more empathetic as a listener. Observe nonverbal cues, encourage them to speak, acknowledge their ideas, pay attention, ask question, respect the speaker. So the second kind of l- kinds of listening is critical listening. This is a listening to evaluate the message from the speaker. So part of being critical listener is effective listening. So when we say effective listening, listening to all parts of the conversation, from big picture to the smallest details of what he is sharing to you. So analyzing the message and coming to your own conclusion. So when engaging in critical listening, you're also tapping into your critically thinking skills. That's it. That means not taking everything at face value. Yun bang you will not just rely on his or her facial expression. So you make judgments and inferences based on what you hear and see from the speaker. So don't just rely on the face value. Yun bang nakita mo sa kanyang mukha. Okay, make inferences, judgment based on what you hear and see from the speaker. Okay, so we have um building critical listening skills. So we have six. Okay, the first one is um use your initiative. Okay, so relying on your initiative can act as a warning system for you. Okay, you could identify whether the speaker is inconsistent or just telling a lie, diba? Um, if what the speaker is saying seems off or yun nga, inconsistent, listen to your intuition. If you run into illogical points or exaggerated language, take the opportunity to dive deeper before accepting or rejecting the message being shared to you. So next, ways or factors to build critical listening skills is avoid assumptions. So it is important when you listen, stop making assumptions and be sure that there's no place for biases. Yung mga bias kani. Instead, focus on the facts and questions that can help the speaker clarify the message. So you have to avoid assumptions. The third one is welcome new ideas. The truth is, many of us have a tendency to listen to information aligns with our beliefs and then move out those stuff that we didn't like. We just listen if it is aligned with our beliefs. So it is important to note that part of critical listening is being open to ideas that we don't agree with and evaluate it evaluate it to our fullest extent. Okay. So don't just listen to ideas that you liked, because a critical listener, a behavior of a critical listener is open to new ideas. Okay. So you have to welcome new ideas. Fourth is taking notes. Okay, sometimes um the conversation with a friend or a family member or with your peers may be rich. So we hardly recommend, okay, it is hardly recommended to record careful selective notes to help you keep track of the important points. So taking notes will help you engage in the conversation and help you see big picture as well as the smallest details. Then fifth is push out for empty questions. Remember that in building critical listening skills, you have to avoid interrupting the speaker and especially avoid asking empty questions. Yun bang walang kabuluhan na mga tanong that can disrupt the flow of their thoughts. Instead, concentrate in deeper questions that entice the speaker to give more thoughtful responses. Okay, then sixth is give candid feedback. So critical thinking starts with feedback. That's how you will improve your listening skills overall. So you can base your feedback when it comes to your body language, listening, and analytical skills. So those are the factors that will build critical listening skills. Use your initiative, avoid assumptions, welcome new ideas, taking notes, push out for empty questions, and give candid feedback. So we have three common attributes of listening. So all listening aims at comprehension. So your objective, why you listen, because you want to comprehend, you want to understand what the speaker is telling about, diba? So if you didn't understand what you are hearing, so there is a little problem with the information presented, or you could not really just understand what the speaker is talking about. So all listening aims at comprehension. So second is listening activity is a transactional process. So, transactional process daw siya. Diba? Listening is a channel through which speakers reach their audience. Okay, yun daw yung listening. So channel, this channel works both ways as the audience in a face-to-face situation sends a message back to the speaker. So this is called feedback. So when the the recipient would respond to the message, she is she got, that is called feedback. So thus listening is a dynamic. When we say dynamic, ano siya? It is an activity. It is constantly changing. So transactional process in which both speakers and listeners participate to create a meaning. Diba? A desired meaning. So third is listening is an interpretative act. So in this third attributes of listening, both the speakers and the listener modify each other's thoughts and feelings, thoughts and actions by making a speech and the other, or by interpretation. So they would interpret what they comprehend, they would interpret it. So that 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 is all the three common attributes of listening. So we have the most important purpose of listening. So the first one is listening for information. Okay. So informational listening has the goal of understanding another person's ideas. So this involves either questioning or paraphrasing. So example of this informational listening is depicted in classroom, diba? Classroom situations, swapping ideas on um different topics, diba? When we say sa social science ta, diba? The students are brainstorming or swapping ideas. Okay, sharing ideas with each other. Situations on religion, political situations. That's it. Okay, the second one is listening for enjoyment. So we listen to enjoy and to relax ourselves after a hard day's work. When we listen for enjoyment, we relieve our tensions. Okay. So example of this type of listening includes listening to music, diba? Listening to concerts and other musical events, and even listening to inspirational message. Okay, so the third one is uh listening for critical evaluation. Okay, the objective of evaluative listening is to judge. Okay. It's either to accept or reject an idea. So example for this is when someone is trying to persuade you to buy a product. Okay, so I think that's all for this session. Thank you so much for listening, and good luck, God bless, and keep safe.